Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Melissa Rich with the podcast, Taking Care of Your Temple. And the objective of this podcast is to help women connect with God regularly, to use his grace, power, and strength to improve all areas of their life, of health, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And I always say those in a different order, but whatever, it's those four. 4 ways that we do this. One is we keep our focus on God. This sounds easy, but there's so many distractions in the world. We can end up chasing rabbits all over the place, but that is one that we need to keep pulling ourselves back on track. The next one is acknowledging that we are not enough on our own. We are not strong enough, smart enough, quick enough, whatever enough. We need God's help. And the good thing is that he is happy to give it to us if we ask him. Next one, remembering it is about progress, not perfection. Thank goodness, because we would all be in trouble if we were having to be perfect. Then the next one is to work on consciously changing our thoughts. And this is so tremendously important because our thoughts influence how we act and think and feel and connect with other people. So if we're giving ourselves a lot of negative messages, it's not going to be good. So that's something that we need to do. All right. So my goal is to every week give you guys a lot of good tools and tips that will help you function better. Sometimes on the podcast, I'll be by myself. Sometimes I will have guests. Today, I have 2 awesome guests who I'm going to introduce in just a minute. But let's start off with a word of prayer. Lord, I just thank you for this time here. Thank you that we can talk about you, just celebrate the good things that you have done for us. And I just ask your blessings on myself, on Melinda, on Brianna today. And I pray that we will really come up with some things that are helpful for the people who are listening. Thank you, Lord, for your love. Amen. Okay, so I have today 2 awesome guests who have really known each other for years and years. In fact, Brianna, you've known Melinda your entire life because they are mother and daughter. So Melinda Crenwelge, am I saying it right? Okay. Yeah. She is a national marketing director at Juice Plus. She has a PhD in reading and science education at Texas Women's University. We both have our PhDs from TWU. We were talking about that the other day. We both have very fond memories of Texas Women's. It's a great school. She was a founder and consultant at Academics Plus. And I'm going to come back to you and give you a chance to say some more. Brianna Tanner, who is her daughter, married because, different last name. She has a degree in nutrition and she is a certified personal trainer. If you saw her, full length, you would know that because she is in awesome shape. So you would not be surprised to hear that. She also is a consultant at Juice Plus.
Senior sales coordinator. Mm-hmm.
Say it again.
Senior sales coordinator.
Senior sales coordinator at Juice Plus. So Brianna, is there anything else you want to tell us about you? And then we'll circle back to your mom.
I would say that I am a fitness and food junkie for sure. I love helping people find the combination of fitting all the things that they love while still hitting the goals they want with their fitness.
Yeah. Good. I mean, that's admirable. Thank you. Melinda, anything else we should know about you?
I would just say that I really enjoy advocating. So for years and years with Academics Plus, I feel like I was in the position to advocate for underachieving students. And now with the work that we get to do with Juice Plus, it's advocating for better health and better wellness and also better finances for especially women, but for everyone that's looking for an opportunity in business.
Better what did you say for women?
Finances.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Good deal. So both of these women have been on Juice Plus for years, and we're going to talk about this if you're not sure what this is in a minute. And they are directly responsible for getting me on the Juice Plus bandwagon. This happened about 1.5 years ago. I started using the plant powders. I got my son to use them as well. And we both noticed a significant improvement in several areas. Energy levels, ladies, about 7:00, no kidding. I'm sitting here in the living room just nodding off thinking, is it time to go to bed yet? I mean, I just was out of it. Mental clarity. That's something that is really important to me because my dad, before he passed away, had Alzheimer's. So I'm very conscious of that. And so I love the omegas, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And also I was able to, just general physical health and weight loss. I was able to finally get rid of those last 10 or 15 pounds I'd been waffling around with. So I take the products every day. I plan to continue taking them for as long as I am around. So let's find out a little bit more about Melinda and Brianna, and then we're going to dive into Juice Plus, because I think this is such an awesome way to get healthier and to stay healthy. I love it. Okay, Melinda, you come from an education background. How did you get interested in health and wellness?
Well, I do come from the education background, but first and foremost, I am a mom.
Yep.
And that is how I became aware of Juice Plus. It was actually back in 1997.
97?
97,
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
26 years ago.
Wow.
I was at church. I was talking to a dear friend of mine who is also a personal trainer, very concerned about one of Brianna's brothers who has an auditory processing disorder. So with that condition, which is permanent, nerve loss, he loses about 30 to 40% of the stimulus sound, which in the classroom is the teacher's voice. And of course, we all have background noise in a classroom. He and my husband also suffered from severe allergies, and he was usually congested, which knocked that up to about 70% of the stimulus sound being blocked. And I was really literally panicked about how in the world he would perform in the classroom. So she mentioned to me that she had found these plant powders. And back then we just had 1 or 2 research studies, but my background, as you said, is in kinesiology, exercise physiology, and it just made sense. I mean, I knew if I could get 30 plants in Benjamin every day, I knew we could minimize the allergies. Can't do anything about the nerve damage,
right?
But we could definitely get those allergies back. And so I was just all in. Nowadays, we have a research foundation, as you know, that children can receive their Juice Plus free with a sponsored order. But back then, we didn't have that. Mark and I were both teaching, and there was 5 of us, and I couldn't see a way in our budget to have all 5 of us start eating Juice Plus. But I wasn't going to not let Brianna have it or not let Jay have it. So that's why I signed up for the business. So just to offset the cost. And so
that you could give these products to your family.
So we could all eat Juice Plus. Yes.
Yeah. And, you mentioned something that I forgot to mention that I really hadn't even thought about till you said it. My allergies have been so much better since I started on Juice Plus. I would be sneezing all through whatever allergy season was. And I literally remember one time I was teaching at Mid-America Christian University, and I had to bring boxes of Kleenex to every class because I kept having sneezing attacks. And I had one in front of my students, and I'm sorry, just sneezing. And when I finished and kind of blew my nose and got everything ready to go again, one of the girls said, "Dr. Rich, you sneezed 12 times in a row. We counted." Yeah. I mean, that's really how bad it was. And I have not had that. I mean, I hadn't even put that together until you said all that. But yeah, that's also been better.
Yeah. It's amazing what the plants will do for your immune system.
Yes. No kidding.
That's what I found over the next few months. Their allergies minimized. And so that was amazing to me. And then just like anything else, when you have something really wonderful in your hands,
you
just can't wait to start telling more
people. Yeah. So Brianna, you grew up in a Juice Plus family. You were taking plant powders at a pretty early age. You started at what, 4 or 5, 6, something like that?
Yeah, I think 5 or 6. Now I'm not for sure exactly, but I think it was about 6.
Okay. But then you got off of it for a while before you saw the light again. So tell our listeners about that, please.
Yeah. So I think that people resonate with this when you grow up, no matter what kind of household you grow up in, that's what you think is normal, right?
Sure.
So my brothers and I, for as long as I can remember, since I was so young when we started, we were healthy, but I thought that that's how all kids were. So we didn't go to the doctor, but once a year for our physicals, we all played sports, and we weren't on any antibiotics. It sounds, I mean, now I know we were before we started this, but I wasn't aware of that. And so I bet I was on, I don't know, antibiotics just when I was young. And I thought that that was normal. We all played sports. We weren't sore. We kept up. We didn't miss school. Mom and dad would actually take us out for well days because we would complain that we weren't able to miss school. Like all my friends would pretend they were sick and stay home and watch TV. And that never worked with my mom and dad. So we convinced them to take us out for well days. But
Smart.
fast forward to when I was 18, mom and dad said I need to start paying for my own product. And so we all know where that's going, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I am a healthy person. This is one of those things. Y'all have wasted so much time and money on it. I do not need this. So I didn't take it, right? And that's when I really realized what was happening. In that first year of college, nothing changed, right? Lifestyle-wise, even though I moved out of the house, I was eating very similarly. I was still an athlete, practicing all the time. And for the first time in my life, I couldn't sleep through the night. I started having panic attacks. But most importantly, my entire body, my arms, my chest, my back, my face was covered in really severe cystic acne.
Wow.
And that's not fun for women or men at any age, but especially not 18 when you're trying to make new friends at your new
college. Yeah.
And because I'd never suffered from acne, I still don't to this day know how to put makeup on. So then it was even worse when I was trying to cover it up. And so I spent more money and time in a doctor's office that semester than I had my entire life combined. And everything I tried would work for a short period of time. But as soon as I stopped taking the antibiotic, or as soon as my face got used to the lotion, it just quit working. And it was just back to square one. And at the time I was studying nutrition. So that helped me kind of understand what was going on. I started to learn more, not from my parents, but really learn more about that. So that's when I reached out and talked to my mom, like, all right, maybe these little plant powders actually do something. Maybe they were why I was healthy, and that was my normal. And so got back on them, and within a couple months, it straightened itself back out. Every once in a while now I have flare-ups, but just during stressful seasons, I feel like that's normal for us ladies. And so, but everything else has gone back to my old normal.
And to look at you, I can't even imagine you with severe acne. I really, your skin is so clear. You look pretty radiant. So does your mom. I can see where you get it from. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it had gotten so bad. I even went a couple times. They had to lance some of my cystic acne because they weren't, for months, like certain spots weren't going away. And so one of the things that I've worked with a lot of estheticians now, they've always mentioned your pores and your skin have healed unlike anyone else's. Usually people that have that severe of acne have scars and pits and a lot of signs that you can tell. But I know that there's research behind the Juice Plus on skin density and skin health. So I'm convinced that getting back on it and having had it before allowed my skin, where I do still have that like clear finish, because it was able to heal. And I don't have, you've seen it where, that doesn't have to be permanent for people. You just have to heal your skin and let it heal itself.
Yeah. Well, a good outcome for you.
Yes.
Okay. So Melinda, you started taking Juice Plus 27 years ago, and it was mostly for your kids and then for your family. And then you started selling it to support you guys. What differences did you see when you and your family started taking the plant powders?
So the first thing that I was watching for, as I mentioned, was Benjamin's allergies.
Right.
Mark also had really severe allergies. So we definitely saw those subsiding down to next to nothing.
Cool.
And then we actually built a house outside of town, and it really, it's kind of embarrassing, but it really didn't hit me until I went to pack up the kids' bathroom. And I got down underneath the sink, putting stuff in the box, and I was just finding bottles and bottles of dried up antihistamines and all kinds of over-the-counter.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I don't remember even giving this to Benjamin anymore. And I don't remember being back at the doctor's. We were at the doctor's every 10 days for another antibiotic for him, just constant. So I walked into our bedroom and I asked Mark, have you been taking the Contact? Have you been eating all the antihistamines? And he was like me. He was like, no, I really didn't. So that was the thing that really triggered it for me.
Yeah.
And then as I started sharing it with my students' families, right off the bat, people just kept coming. Honestly, we have a pretty high energy threshold. People are always asking us, what are you on? And we always say, plants, fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables is how you're supposed to be. But my students' parents really kept coming in saying, oh my gosh, my kids are just sleeping like a rock. I mean, they are just sleeping deeply and they're not fitful. And they're asking for fruits and vegetables. Like we went in the gas station and they found orange juice. Like I didn't even know they sold that. They just always grabbed a soda. And so the sleeping and also the regularity, people were telling me more than I needed to know about how then frequently they were going to the bathroom, which appalls me because I'm just, knowing that's where our colon cancer comes from if you're not cleaning that out. So those were the first things that really got me excited about helping more people start eating more plants.
Because you were seeing results in your family and in other people's families.
Yes. And I'm educator first. So I know if my kids are, if they're pooping well, they're getting their gut cleaned up, they're benefiting from all the food that they are eating. But if they're sleeping well, a lot of our students have all kinds of learning disabilities.
Yes.
And all of that is just exacerbated by fitful sleep. If you're not well rested, we've all been up during the night with different things. The next day is just exhausting. But if you think about kids experiencing that every night.
Yeah. Well, that and living on junk food.
Yeah.
It's just, and that segs into, I don't know if I said that right, to Brianna. You have a degree in nutrition. Mm-hmm. Why is eating the right things so important to our well-being?
I think people have heard this saying over and over again, but it doesn't radiate true until something happens. You are what you eat. Your body, every cell, from your hair to your skin to your bones to your organs, everything is recreating itself on a constant basis for your entire life. So what you eat, what you drink, how you handle your stress, how you move your body literally creates your body tomorrow and a year from now and 6 months from now. So you have the opportunity, like Mom was saying, if you don't already do all the right things with your health, start today and do one thing healthier, because that's going to help your body tomorrow and down the road. But by eating junk food, you have a body built from poor quality ingredients, where if you eat good food, you have a body built from good ingredients, and so it's like if you build a house with lumber with holes and you build a house with grade A lumber, well, which one do you think is going to last longer?
Yeah,
the house built with good lumber, and you don't get only one shot, because you can change it every day. But if you've had 30 years of bad decisions, it's going to take a little time to change that, right? You can't change that in one day. So we love helping, starting with families specifically, so we can help the kids from like day one, and then help the adults work to change what they've already done for so long, but help them get off to a right start. Because like you were saying that earlier, the kids nowadays just have cards stacked against them that even I didn't have 20 years ago, and everybody else. Yeah.
Well, when I get clients in, and I did this when I was counseling, and now when I'm doing hypnosis, I assess for several areas. And one of them is nutrition. I always ask, do you eat a pretty healthy diet? I would say, and most of my clients, it's weight loss, anxiety, or stop smoking. Those are my three main ones that people want to change. Probably 80 to 85% of people say, no, I eat terrible. I mean, is that you all's experience? Do you feel like most people do not make good eating choices?
For sure.
I think that was the most exciting thing to me when I found about these plant powders in a capsule, because I too would say that. My students' parents would come in the office and they would say, oh my gosh, no, we're just running from one 99-cent meal to the next. We don't even eat at home. We are always eating in the car, which I was too. And so I would start talking to them about, maybe some fruit, add a salad, they just like I'd stepped off Mars. Of course, that is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But when I found out about this, I could say, well, could you give them a gummy? Could you take a
right.
the compliance is, I mean, we all know we need to be eating better, but it's so hard. But this is just like Brianna calls it the easy button, I mean, like, yeah, I can take a capsule in the morning. I can feed my kids some gummies. They actually want the whole bag,
Right.
So that way it's just a very baby step that starts all of the right things happening.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Okay, so these next few questions are for both or either of you. Whoever wants to answer, just jump right in. So I hear a lot of people saying things like, I found this natural supplement that has plants in it at the grocery store. It has fruits and vegetables, so I'm taking that. Okay. I always cringe a little bit when I hear that. The three of us have talked about the fact that Juice Plus I don't mean to step on any toes, but it is so much better than any other similar product out there. What is it that they do differently that makes them so much more effective? And again, I don't care who answers.
I'll jump in real quick and I'll let Mom finish this one.
Okay.
But I will say things that are plant-based and things that are full of plants are very different things. And having my degree in nutrition, I'm always looking for stuff that is certified by a third party. That's actually, the supplement industry is not regulated at all. So what's in that bottle and what's on that label are not always the same thing. And if you're someone who takes care to look at, there's commonly every so many years, they'll do a check and almost 80 to 90% of the supplement companies fail because they've got additives in their things. They're not what they're promoting. And that's so hard for me because you are spending good money trying to make good choices and it's just to waste. So I will say what gives us confidence is Juice Plus is the #1 research nutraceutical in the world. So that gives us a lot of, so I'll let Mom finish on that one. I know she loves this.
Good start. Okay, Mom, over to you.
This is my favorite part. This is my very favorite part. So as a biology teacher, when Carol first started talking to me about this back in 97, my brain immediately goes to, I don't want to supplement. I do not want to supplement. I'm not putting a supplement in my kids because a supplement is a biological isolate. It is something that we have copied and recreated in isolation, and then we put it in our gut, and our gut has no idea what to do with that.
Because it's not natural.
It's not. It's just B12. Your gut doesn't know what to do with B12. It knows what to do with a tomato, or it knows what to do with a piece of kale. So my #1 thing at the very beginning, I told Carol, is I don't want a supplement. I want a nutrition label. I want it to be food. And that was the most exciting thing to me about this Juice Plus, because what they do is they take vine ripened, herbicide, pesticide free produce and literally pulverize it with the seed and the skin and all the nutrition. And they dry it really low temperatures so none of the enzymes are damaged, put it into a powder, and that's what you're getting in that capsule. So you're literally getting the entire symphony. You're getting all of the things, not just what we have biologically separated and isolated in a lab and put in a capsule. That's what we talk about, whole food.
Yeah. So the fruit capsule has probably how many fruits in it? You may know exactly. 10? Brianna's holding up her fingers. 10. Okay. Okay. What about the vegetables?
That one has 10 as well.
Okay. So my point is, I think because I always ate fairly healthy. Okay. I was pretty conscious of that. Did I always get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day? No. I mean, who has time?
And the point is that you're getting 20 different, or you add the berries in there and you're getting 30 different plants. Like we all might eat an apple and a banana every day.
Sure.
But, #1, it's picked across the world when it's green, painted yellow, shipped over to us, blah, blah, blah. What's the nutrition density in that? Not much. But with these capsules, with the plant powders, you're getting that full, you've seen it, the full rainbow, all the colors, the variety, so it's just nutritionally so much above and beyond what we're talking about with a supplement. And then, as Brianna said, the other thing is the clinical trials. I mean, there is just nobody else on the market. That we have almost 50 now clinical trials. They're clinical trials done on human subjects. They have a placebo that looks like our capsule. They have our capsule. They're actually,
so they're doing the double-blind studies.
Double-blind, gold standard, published in peer-reviewed journals. All of the things that are important to you and I, Melissa. That's, we have a lot of testimonials, but I want the data backed up in a study that shows me this is why what's happening is happening.
And that's what we call it, that hope backed by science. And I will say there are a lot of products on the market that will say they have research, but ask to look into it, because as someone like the three of us, we understand that there are different kinds of research, and there's quality of research. And so if I'm taking something that's full of, say, example, amino acids, I want to know what this product with these amino acids does in a human's body. I don't want to know what that amino acid isolated individually does in a rat. Like, that's great to know there's research that proves that it does that, but that doesn't tell me that it does that in the form you've got it in, and it does that in a human body. And double blind, so depending on how science geeky you want us to get, there's varies of that.
Well, I've always said I'm a research nerd. I love looking at that. And that was one of the things that impressed me so much when you guys started telling me you need to do Juice Plus, all this. I started looking at the research studies, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a ton. I mean, bunches, and in very reputable journals. And again, a lot of them were the double-blind studies. I was very impressed by that, because some of the companies that I've seen, it's like they will do research, but when you look at it, they were researching on fish oil, not even specifically their fish oil, but just, and so there's a lot of holes in it, I think. Juice Plus, their research is on their product, their plant powders. It's not on, this generic thing. It's on their stuff. And the results of the studies have been amazing. And now there are a lot of, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to mention the studies are published in peer-reviewed journals, some of the top journals around the world, and the institutions where the research has been done are very reputable. MD Anderson, for example, here in Texas. These are not just studies that are done in some corporation for their company on the side. This is literally journal access that we have for everyone to look at that is legitimate research.
It's impressive. Okay, Brianna, I wanted to ask you, I'm skipping ahead some on my list of talking points, but I know that a lot of athletes are using Juice Plus. Tell me some about that. Why are they doing it? What are the results that they're getting? Just tell me some about that, please. Or tell us.
So because of that high quality product that's been proven by research, it catches a lot of top level athletes. So those could be D1 college students, those could be Olympic athletes, professional athletes. They have a really strenuous checkpoints that they have to go through, rightfully so, to make sure that they're not taking anything that could give them an unfair advantage over some of the other athletes in the field. And so because of that, Juice Plus has taken a ton of time and consideration. It's just plants. Right. And so, but by offering just plants, if this athlete is building their house, right, building their body with 2 or 3 plants a day, and this athlete is building their body with the same 2 or 3 that they're eating at their campus, cafeteria, and also getting 40 or 50 more raw fruits and vegetables from Juice Plus, who do you think's house is going to be stronger? Who do you think's house is going to perform better? Going to show up to practice really well. They're going to recover faster. They're going to run faster. Everything is going to be superior because their bones are stronger, right? Their muscles are stronger. Their whole body is built completely different than this athlete. And I don't know many athletes that don't want a competitive edge, right? They want to beat that person. So if they can do something that's going to help them and it stays all within the guidelines of what they're supposed to do, they'll take it. So there are a lot of Olympic teams that use Juice Plus specifically as their nutritional, they call it a nutritional supplement because that's what that's what that industry calls it. And it is supplementing their diet, but it is very different than a supplement. Right. And then there are a lot of professional teams as well as college teams that are catching on to that food first approach and really coming on board with the bars that we have as healthy snacks on the go, the shakes as great recovery options and all of that.
Now, Juice Plus is certified for, there's a thing that athletes have to look for. Is it NSF or something?
Yes,
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that is one certification. That's that third party validation. So that is something that there's a third party company that comes in and makes sure that what's on the bottle is on the label, what's on the label is in the bottle. And so typically it's only about 1 to 2 or 3% of supplements will fit that and receive that stamp of approval. It's a really, really high level. Juice Plus is one of those companies because they do take extra care to make sure they're not adding anything in. You know, a couple years ago, probably 5 or 10 years ago, there was a lot with some of the MTHR gene where people were having a hard time digesting folate and folic acid. So there was a whole nutritional discussion about this. And so Juice Plus took the time and consideration, okay, instead of adding in what would help with the folic acid, which is a form of that, even though it's plant-based and plant-driven, why don't we just put lemon peels in there? Lemon peels have it naturally, right? Yeah. So then they reformatted the whole thing. So now everybody that falls into any of those categories, whether you can absorb it or not, it's really great for pregnancy also. And all the people that are worried about folate, now we have an even better version of it that's all naturally driven.
And Juice Plus is kosher. It's certified for vegan. I mean, I don't know really of anybody who might not be able to take it.
And that's one of the things that's so good. And I know Brianna really talks about this a lot, that you can take it when you're pregnant. It's encouraged to take it when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Not a young age limit or an upper age limit. And so when we see things that say, well, you can't eat that when you're pregnant, or you can't eat that under a certain age, it kind of makes you wonder, well, why do I want to eat that at all? You know?
Yeah. You know, one of my favorite things are the omegas. I love the omegas because I was having a lot of brain fog before I started Juice Plus. I mean, I noticed a big difference. And I mean, I just turned 65, so I suppose that's understandable, but I have got my mental clarity back and I love them. I tried fish oil in the past. It was recommended to me by someone and it totally tore up my stomach. I'm not going to give you all the gory details, but suffice it to say that it's really hard to be working when you have to keep running to the bathroom. Yeah. And so I kept thinking, what is happening? And I was, thinking back, okay, this has been going on for 3 weeks. What happened? And I realized, you know what? 3 weeks ago, I started taking fish oil. So like a good little researcher, I looked it up. Yes, one of the side effects can be stomach issues. Stop taking it. How are Juice Plus omegas different than other brands? Because they are.
Go ahead, Brianna.
So the concept is the same, right? Like we know we have a need for omegas. People do not eat near as many nuts, seeds. There's certain fruits and vegetables that carry them. There's certain fish and lean meats that carry them. I always say we have out-convenienced ourselves from health. And so we don't eat those things. We eat things that come in boxes and bags, preferably in a drive-through, right? And so those don't have those. So that is where that really caught on. Everybody knows fish have omega-3s, right? Like the fish oil, it's supposed to give you that. So that was the concept. Everyone started taking them. There's been a lot of research now. Mom and I do a lot of education on, especially if you are a man, be really careful with taking a fish oil. There's a lot of new research indicating a link to prostate cancer, which is not something that someone wants to chance with. But it's not the omegas that's doing it. It's like everything else. It's the process that we get the oil out. It's the process that they seal that capsule shut. It's all the chemicals added in the plants, not the actual fish, and the plants being like the factory, not the Okay. And so that's where a lot of people then have started, like they've had symptoms and side effects, just like with pharmaceuticals. You have to always weigh, what will it do? What can it cause? Is it worth taking then? Right. And so with ours, because we're vegan, because we're all of the things you listed before, they weren't even going to touch the fish. So Juice Plus did years of research to figure out not only are we omega-3 deficient, but there's also an omega-5, 6, 7, and 9. And you may or may not know that, but I mean, I know you know that, but whoever's listening.
I know.
Yeah.
Melinda knows.
Yes. And you want to keep a good, healthy balance of the 3 and 6, but 5, 7, and 9 commonly get left out. They're the ones that help your eyes. They're the ones that help your joints, your ears, your heart, everything going on. There's so much advantage. So Juice Plus went and found the plants, the seeds, and the oils that all those come from. So ours is extracted from plants specifically. And it's a nice little citrusy. We used to open them up. I put them on my skin as well. They smell really great. Anytime you've got a sore or babies not sleeping at night. I know a lot of moms that rub them on their feet at night to really help soothe them, because it's not toxic, right? It's just plants.
Right. It's just plants.
Mm-hmm. So you can use it.
So Juice Plus uses the plants that the fish eat instead of the fish with all the other stuff in them.
Correct. Yep. So there's algae in there as one of the plants that's used, and there's a couple seed oils. So it's extracted from a lot of that to have a good, and they take into consideration, I get that asked a lot. Well, you can't have the wrong amount of 3 to 6. They've got that all figured out, I promise. So they take that all into consideration.
Cool. So Juice Plus has a much smaller product line than a lot of companies, which I personally like because it's easier to keep track of. The Omegas is, I think, their latest one in the food powder, plant powders.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get it. The plant powders. That's the latest one there. But they've come up with some other ones lately. Tell us some about what their products are, what they have.
So one of my very favorite things that we have is an aeroponic gardening system.
Oh, yeah.
Tower garden. And we actually, here in Waco, we have 12 of them at Riker. They're a phenomenal way to teach science by actively creating your own hypothesis and putting together your data and looking at your observations, going through all those scientific steps with your very own plant. So science education people, it's phenomenal.
And tell people what the Tower Garden is, because I don't know if everybody will know.
Right. So it's a aeroponic gardening system. And so basically there's a tub of water down at the bottom and a little pump like in a fish tank, and it pumps the water up through the cylinder. And then there's rings on this cylinder where the plants are stuck and the roots are growing inside that tube, and the water showers down over those roots. We have the minerals A and B that, again, have been very perfectly researched. Right. So the plants get exactly the nutrients that they need. There's lights, and so they get the exact lights. The temperature is right. So you end up with 30% faster growth and 30% better growth, more produce, 90% less water needed than typical dirt gardening. So on the planet side, it's amazing.
So people can grow plants, fruits, vegetables in their home. I mean, yes. I've seen people who have them in their living room or on their patio.
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't do that in Texas. I'd be afraid with the weather we'd have, that would kill them with the cold weather. But I mean, you can do it in your home, and you can just go pick lettuce or, whatever. Okay.
Pick my kale, put it in my shake every single morning. Nobody has touched it. It doesn't have anything on it except for what I grew. And that really was the dream of all of this. This came out of research from the land at Disney in Florida. And one of the men there, really his dream was that every American home could produce their own growth. They could grow their own food. And so he left and started, he was at Epcot, right? And so he left to Disney and started his own company and was just going to get a tower garden in every home. And then he realized that he was really a researcher and
not a marketer. Yeah.
And so we Juice Plus partnered with him to become his marketing arm to achieve his dream of getting those tower gardens throughout the world. And now they're literally all over the globe. So it's very exciting. And it fits our mission because it really helps people get more fresh produce. And kids, just like us, if you grow it, you're going to eat it. And so, we're used to that stuff in a bag or stuff in a box or stuff in a drive-through. But when you've planted that little seed and then you've watched it sprout within a week, it sprouts. Within a month, you're harvesting. We find that people eat a lot more.
Especially kids, I would think, if they see it grow and they help it and everything. Yeah.
Herbs, all kinds of things that you end up adding into your diet that are fresh and raw. And so, we've increased then our mission of getting people healthier.
Cool. What's the one for athletes that we've recently added, Bree?
That's what I was surprised she didn't jump in and talk about her. So we have we have protein powders as well, right. Shake mixes and bars. And of the shake mixes, they've always been more designed for a full, complete meal. And so they've got healthy fats, carbs, and protein. But they had a lot of requests. They had a lot of asks, especially if the athletes were coming on board to use this for their advantage. They were doubling up on those because they didn't have the plant protein enough to fit the needs of what they were doing in their plans. So Juice Plus took some time and put together a plant-based performance drink specifically designed for athletes. What came from that, though, is a lot of what is designed for high protein needs and designed for muscle recovery. Those same plants, specifically the beets, are really helpful for hormone balancing. So in return, it kind of fits both categories. You've got a lot of athletes that are utilizing that plant-based protein for their recovery needs. And you've got a lot of ladies that want the benefits of great skin and the collagen helpful needs, and as well as the hormone balancing, regardless what stage a female is on her journey, everybody needs that help with hormone balancing. But it was designed specifically for athletes with extra protein.
And the name of it is, again?
Perform.
Perform. Okay. Yes. And Melinda, y'all can't see, but she's sitting here showing off her skin, her lovely skin for everybody to see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I will just mention that, those of you that are also postmenopausal women and you're out there eating up all that ground up cattle femur bone, this is something much, much healthier to look at. And I actually did, you mentioned about the results you found after the omegas. I had heard several of us in our age group, I'm 63 now, and several of us had said, just take half of the dosage for the Perform and add it to your shake. And I was telling Brianna, we're on these Zooms all day long and my skin, oh my gosh, my neck, and really within probably about 6-8 weeks, I was thinking, oh my gosh, Brianna, look at my skin and my neck.
She's showing off to everybody.
we were at a conference and Lisa Pebble is the chemical engineer who oversees all of our research. And I ran up to her and said, Lisa, look at my neck. And she's looking at me like, it looks great, Melinda. Mom, she has no idea. And I said, I promise this is since I've been eating the Perform. This is since we've had. And she said, well, of course it is, Melinda. Of course it is. That's that protein that we designed it for. So it was very confirming that she would agree that would be one of the benefits of something that we think of just for those young male athletes that are out there.
And I will add in, I love the way the Juice Plus names their products, right? Like the fruit, vegetable, berry, omega blend. Clearly those are just named because that's what they are. But then you've got the complete bars and shakes because they were designed to be a complete meal. Juice Plus will not put themselves in a weight loss category. They definitely don't want to join that market because it's all healthy living. But then Perform came in to help your performance, right? So I love watching how they take extra care also even down to the name. And they are coming out, they're in the works right now with complete that line of bars and shakes. It's all heavily using a soy protein, which you can go back and forth on. There's research both ways. And a lot of people have personal feelings, especially in the fitness world. So they have taken time and consideration. So there is a soy-free version that will be coming out later as well. Or those that just have soy intolerances and can't handle that kind of protein.
Right. So I know that Juice Plus is very committed to strengthening families and making family members more healthy across the board. And so they have something called the Healthy Family Program. Would one or both of you all tell us about that, please?
Go for it.
This is the one that I mentioned we did not have, and I found out about juice. So we had to buy it for all 5 of us. But again, the company is on such a mission, and they realize that young families typically have lower incomes. And
Yes.
just like Mark and I, with our 3 at the beginning of our career, it was harder for us than it might be right now to pay for 5 of us. So they set up a research foundation and they fund it for us. All the partners make a small contribution. So we're all contributing to this. But what they do is every adult order can sponsor a child for free. It was originally set up to be for 4 years, but now this spring they have even gone beyond that.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
The child now can actually get Juice Plus for free until they turn 26.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Wow. I didn't know that.
It's huge. And I just love that part of it. So the minute that came out, that was so big for my students' families, because now I can say, look, if mom orders it, I can cover one of the kids for free. Dad orders it.
Yep.
Another child for free. And
Grandma.
And really, grandma, if you have a 3rd child, and
Yeah.
Brianna sponsors friends of hers that have children, since she doesn't have any kids yet. You can sponsor anybody that's at least 4 years old. And so I love that, because instead of just getting the kid healthier, you're impacting that entire family.
Mhm.
So that is our and Juice Plus is very, very generous as a corporation. Not only with that Family Healthy Starts Foundation, but then we also do a lot with St. Jude's. We took over their marathon years ago because our home base is in Memphis, and so
I didn't know that either.
we're the lead sponsor on the St. Jude's Marathon. We do a lot with Children's Health Program. We fund a free tower garden for every Boys and Girls Club across America. So they really are very, very generous with their resources.
Well, I do want to say too, I love the family program, because Melinda, you and I both come from an education background, and we know, and I guess Brianna, you do too, somewhat, that if kids are not well nourished, they are not going to do well in school. They're not going to pay attention. They're going to fall asleep. They're not going to remember the stuff that, it's just going to be a waste of time. So I think nutrition, especially for kids, is so, so very important.
And it's really important that you see your parents doing it also. I think that is really the key on what they realized with the family health study, because if your mom is eating her Juice Plus and then she's giving it to you, and you both are feeling better and talking about how much better you're feeling, then that's going to impact such a difference than if the parents are not involved. So I think it was really, really very insightful that they set it up this way.
Agreed. On the Juice Plus website, I saw that 80% of the Juice Plus sales partners are female, from years 18 to 80 years old. I think that's amazing. So why are so many women using and selling Juice Plus?
I think primarily we always say a lot of people come in on the business side of things. If they have a strong sales background, they assume they will do really, really well with Juice Plus. But because of like what we've talked about today, it's not, it is a sales gig, right? You have to share it and sell it. But the people that do the best with this are the nurturers of their community.
Because it's relational.
Yes, they genuinely want to help people.
Right.
And so this isn't a product you sell once and you never talk to someone again. This is something that I'm investing my time in your family. I'm going to touch base with you. I want to see how it's doing. Do we want to change and get you different products? Like, how is Timmy doing with school? I'm going to stay in touch with you for the rest of it. And so I think women primarily do so well, but I think also in today's world, It's expensive. I don't know many families that can afford to stay home with one income anymore, especially if you want kids. And so women are having to, even if they're wanting to stay home with kids, are typically having to also financially pitch in at home and afford to cover some of those bills for families. So even if that's, we have people on our team that just want $300 or $400 a month. That's all they need. They just need to cover groceries, maybe a car payment,
Some
they
gas.
just cover insurance. Yeah, just one of the bills. They want to take some of that load off of their partner or their spouse or whoever else is helping them. And so I think you get a lot of those that this is a job you can do in the stolen moments of life, when the kids are napping, when you're at a playground, you build those relational capital. So I think that's where you have a lot of women.
Yeah. Because as women, we do that anyway. We connect.
Right. Yep. We have the spaghetti brain. We're already everywhere.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I will say it also is we're the nutritional expert in the home. I have talked to so many of my friends that are male and they're doctors or they're dentists. They're advanced degreed in the health field. And as I talk to them about Juice Plus, what do they say? Let me ask my wife. Let me go home and ask my wife. And I'm like, she didn't go to medical school. She doesn't know what you know, but she is the one that's making those decisions in the home.
Nutritional decisions. Yeah.
Yes. So
she is. I have been to a few Juice Plus events because I've been with you guys. And one of the things that I have told you to, I love the Juice Plus community. I mean, people are so welcoming. It's a very nurturing bunch of people, even the guys. And I think we connect and just draw people in pretty effortlessly. I have not been to a major conference yet. That's on the books. But I understand that a lot of them, they have the sales partners and families, like with kids, all present. Kids are running around, which I think sounds so cool. Also, a large number of the sales associates, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, are from the faith-based community, which I also love because that's where I'm from. So tell me a little bit more about either of you, the Juice Plus community. How does it work? How do we connect? What happens?
Well, I will say that is one of the things that the very first time, no matter who comes with me, always says, the guys are in the back watching the babies and the women are sitting here taking notes. One, babies are allowed, toddlers are allowed. They have typically at the big conferences, they actually have family viewing areas where they've got like a little gated area where the kids can all play and the moms can still sit there. They've got a screen so it doesn't deter you. When COVID happened, obviously stuff changed with some of the speculations on what could touch, but you still saw moms bringing their own playpens and sitting in the back. So it's still very much, you'll see presenters take babies and hold them so mom can take notes. So that is very common growing up with and just watching. And I think that whether people are in that faith-based background, whether the affiliates are from that or not, it attracts that group of people that no matter how fast you're running, no matter how slow you're running, no matter if you're on my team or not my team, we're in this together to really help get more people healthier. So if I can help you by holding your kid, or I can help you by giving you my notes, like people just do that in this community, which I think is uncommon. I've been to a couple just things of corporate America, things of other companies, and not all companies take the time to build that from the start.
And I think a lot of that is from two different things. I think it is because it's predominantly women, and that is our nature. I don't mean to be sexist on that, but it just is. And the other thing is our compensation plan is built that way. Our compensation plan, the way we are incented, the way we make more money is how many people we have helped. And so I will increase my personal paycheck if I help my partners get their personal paychecks increased. And so, and then the Juice Plus company is very focused on this one team, one mission. So I think that's what Brianna is alluding to. Melissa, when you go with us, you're gonna meet all kinds of, we call them sideliners, people that are on other teams that are not making a nickel or a dime off of you, and yet they're so excited that you're there. They want to ask what questions you have, how they can help you. So it's a business, but it's so different from typical cutthroat competitiveness.
Yeah.
It is. And I just watched last night the video with Kurt Beavers, the what's the name? The One Life or
Make
Life.
a life.
What is it?
Make a life.
Make a Life. Yeah. And he's a leader of a team. He's not my leader, but he is doing this just to help anybody in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And Brianna, you and I talked a while back about, because I was asking, where do you get these things to post on Facebook, which I need to start doing. And you were saying, well, I find them that other people posted. And she said, I used to just ask them, can I repost this? And I'm like, yeah, just use it. It's fine. People really do not care. They're happy to share. They're just, let's get everybody educated. And I really do. I've been in a lot of different direct sales. This is different.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I love the tone and the feel of the company. Okay, Juice Plus talks about making one simple change. That's one of kind of the models of the company, and focusing on 4 key areas. So tell our listeners about that, what those areas are, please.
I'll take the first 2. So number 1 being eating better. So increasing your plants, decreasing your processed foods, all of that. And then number 2 being sleeping better. So doing things that will help increase your sleep quality, falling asleep faster, staying asleep longer.
Okay.
We also talk a lot about hydration. And one of the things that I learned with some of my students was that dehydration, actually the symptoms of dehydration, Melissa, you know this, mimic depression. And so I have a really good friend that's a psychiatrist in the Dallas area. And she told me, don't send me any more of your students with depression issues until they've done a 24-hour water log. Because 80% of the people will not need to come see me. And so hydration is so important. We really focus on that. We are a nation that is dehydrated.
Yes, we are.
Not drinking water. And then, you mentioned so much anxiety. That's one of the issues you see.
Yes.
Which is, it can be at least minimized if we're well hydrated.
Dehydration, I found, also can lead to and or exacerbate anxiety, which I didn't know until a couple of years ago.
Absolutely. Yep. It's just insane. So the water. And then what was the other thing we were going to do, Brett? The nutrition. The
Look at Bree.
Moving. Moving every day.
There you go.
And the fun thing about that is when I did my undergrad and my master's, it was in exercise physiology. And so we learned about the benefits of muscles and bones from exercise. Those were the 2 areas that were really benefited. But now what we're learning is that benefit goes to every system in the body. If you think about it, when you go work out, even if you're just at a fast clip on a walk, you're breathing deeper, you're sucking in more air. So your whole respiratory system is enhanced. And then all that oxygen is rushing around to all of the cells in your body. You're out, hopefully you're outside. Melissa, the impact of that on your psyche, So there's not a system in the body that is not enhanced with that movement. And so that is the 4th pillar.
Absolutely. One of the things I think is so good about Juice Plus is that they regularly give back to the community. So tell us some of the ways that they do that, please.
So they're really big sponsors with Volunteers of America. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they do a lot when there's a tornado or a hurricane or something. Volunteers of America is typically the one who shows up to feed everybody who's working. So Juice Plus does a lot with obviously bringing the complete shakes, because those are something that can come in that provide a full meal.
Right.
They don't have to be refrigerated. They don't have to be prepared. They can just be drank and out the door, right? And so they do a lot with those kinds of things. Mom mentioned before the Boys and Girls Club. They're really active with finding a local partner and helping get one of the tower gardens in those buildings, because typically the Boys and Girls Clubs are in specific economic status neighborhoods.
Yes.
So if you can teach them how to grow this and then just give that produce away to those families that might be in a food desert that literally don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables, they send you the seed packs and everything. So that's been a really big part of Juice Plus. And then Mom mentioned earlier, St. Jude's.
St. Jude's.
And then the Healthy Starts for Families program.
And Melinda, one I know that you really like is the one, the human trafficking that the lady, tell us about that one.
So Catherine Lee is a partner of ours, and she originally was in California, a young mom, young single mom, and first found out about Juice Plus about the same time I did, way back when. And she was so excited. She said, "Oh my gosh, I think they're hiring." So she was very, very successful with her Juice Plus business and ended up creating quite a revenue stream that she wasn't really quite sure what God wanted her to do with. Mm-hmm. And actually ended up on a plane sitting next to somebody that was watching her read her Bible. So he wanted to kind of gig her and kind of get her a little off center. And he told her that he owned the largest women trafficking company in America. And he owned the largest porn. Yes.
I was like, if he owned the largest trafficking, he probably wouldn't say that.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. Okay.
So anyways, Catherine, I just love her. And so she was not at all put off guard. She was immediately very curious and started asking him about, his personal background. And they ended up creating quite a great conversation. But what it led her to know is that that's where God was calling her to take the revenue that she had created. And so now she and her husband, Michael, have moved to Texas, out in East Texas, and they have created a home for trafficked women. And so like many of the largely successful partners in Juice Plus, they've used that revenue that they've created to really fund things of importance in their own world, things that they're very passionate about, and you mentioned Kurt Beavers. I think he sits on 12 different boards now and is able to do that same kind of thing, which really inspires me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to start wrapping things up here. I love Juice Plus. I think it's an amazing product. It really has made a huge difference for me. Like I said, before I started taking it, 7:30, I am wondering, is it too early to go to bed? Can I go ahead and do that now? Lots of brain fog, been playing around with like 15 pounds for the past 2 years. Juice Plus was a total game changer for me, and I will never be without it. If anyone has any questions about Juice Plus for me or becoming a partner, I can be reached at info@drmelissarich.com. So how can people contact or follow you two? Melinda, you can go first.
I'm going to turn that over to Brianna, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that would probably be the easiest thing because she's got more social media content.
Okay, that's true. Brianna, you can go first.
So, yeah, and we can give you this. So when you upload this, we can have it where they can just click it. On social media, I'm Brianna with 2 N's, Tanner. If you're on Instagram, it's my initial. So it's bri.j.tanner. But probably the best way to get a hold of me is not email. So I would say it's probably my social medias or my phone number. So I can give my phone number is 254-300-7090. So just text or call is probably the easiest way, and I can answer any questions you have. Just let me know you found me here.
Right. And definitely the same for me. As we said, it's one team, one mission. We're all working together. So reach out to Melissa, and then any specific questions that you might have for me, she'll get us hooked up.
And then I do want to talk lastly, my last question was, are there any events coming up that people should know about? So I want one of you to at least talk about the Shred 10 and then any others that maybe people need to know about.
Yeah, I think the Shred 10 is a phenomenal resource. That is an online group that we run. So no matter where you're listening in from, you could definitely join us on that. And any of us could get you information and get you plugged in on that. That really focuses on that one simple change. So for 10 days, we really focus on shredding bad habits and adding in good habits to teach you lifestyle tools that are far beyond the products we use, so that you can learn how to step into a healthier lifestyle. And so that is going to include things that you can reduce, things that you can eliminate, or things that you can completely ignore and focus on next month. Because it does come with 10 guidelines that we really focus on for those 10 days. And then event-wise, Mom, I can let you talk about the Tuesday nights.
Right.
Oh,
So every Tuesday night, we have our affiliate program that at 7:30 p.m., Melissa can give you the Zoom. Well, you actually can just go on healthylivingaffiliates.com and it will automatically link you in. Really exciting information about how to affiliate with our company and the benefits that would share with you. We also have a big thing coming up in February in San Antonio. That
I already have my ticket.
Yes, we've already got Melissa on board for that. Catherine Lee, who I mentioned previously, will be there, and Stuart Crenwelge, who is our global CEO, will be there in San Antonio with us. That is February 17th and 18th. So definitely that would be a time. And I tell people all the time, if you're not sure if you want to affiliate, check it out. Check us out.
Sure.
You know, I mean, like, definitely look at Melissa's website, look at the research we've mentioned, come to San Antonio. That's exactly what I did. I owned a business for 30 years. So I had a whole list of things that had to be checked off before I would have jumped in. And so come and see what we're about. And join in.
Go to juiceplus.com.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of information there. On the Shred 10, I wanted to go back to that. It's not all about eating. My main thing that I want to focus on, because I've been convicted of this for some time, I want to be done eating by 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that I don't like eating late, and I just kind of keep getting caught up into doing that. I'm eating at 7:30 or 8. I'm going to bed by 8:30. It's like, no, I shouldn't be doing this. So that's probably the main one that I want to focus on. That's really not necessarily food related. Well, I guess it is, but it's just timing that I need to get better.
Well, and it's so important. I never knew that breakfast meant break your fast.
Yeah.
Your body, your gut needs time to rest.
Yes.
So it needs to have about, what, Brianna, 8, 10, 12 hours of not digesting food so that it can rest and be ready for the next day.
And that's where I think things that are a little bit more, you'll see health trends that come into place, like intermittent fasting.
Mm-hmm.
That has become so popular because some people take it where it's like 18 hours, right? But your body does need some time, just like you can't expect your brain to stay active 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for 80 plus years of your life. I wouldn't expect my legs to carry me all day, all night on repeat. So the same with your gut. You have to let yourself have time to rest and recover. So yeah, what Melissa was saying, it talks about the foods you're eating, the foods we're reducing or avoiding, how much water you're drinking. Talk about stress reducer things. I want you to breathe every day. I want you to sleep every day. Exercise in whatever capacity. Mom, you talked about that a little bit below. Walking is the most underutilized health tool there is. Simply walking is so good for your joints, for your health, especially if you can get outside, because then that adds in all the fresh air and vitamin D and everything there. But then the steps go through a handful of things that are, so much more. So that's where I love that, because it helps us give you tools, regardless what you do with Juice Plus. You've got tools to really change your life and be sustainable with.
Well, the thing that I like about it also is that it's 10 days. It's kind of like 6 weeks, in the education. We can do anything for 10 days. So you look at those guidelines and you think, I really need to do that. Yes. I can do that for 10 days. I can try that for 10 days. And then, we typically do that at the beginning of every month on a regular rhythm. And what we find month to month to month is we're getting more and more of those habits established.
Mhm.
And I do want to emphasize, I think there are 10 habits that they're recommending that you do. You do not have to do all 10 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you just want to pick 2 to work on, great. That's fine.
Right.
I think it would be really hard to do all 10, although Melinda, I know you did try to do that in the beginning when you were doing it.
And with phenomenal results. Now, I will tell
There you go.
that if you go through all 10 of those, and I'm kind of an all or nothing, all in. But I was shocked after eating Juice Plus for decades, the transformation that really did for my bones, my osteoporosis. I mean, all of the things, the mental fog, all of it. But like I said, a lot of people looked at it and said, that may be good for you, but there is no way I'm going to do all that stuff. And so that's fine. Like Melissa said, I've had people that have started on the shred with us that have simply said, I'm going to drink more water. Maybe I'm not going to get half my weight in, but I'm going to do more than I did yesterday.
Which is a great habit.
Yes.
Great. Okay, I'm going to wind things down. I always give a fun fact about Waco because I think Waco is a great place to live. So one of the things that I really like about Waco, and you guys probably chime in on this, it's a smaller town that thinks big. I love that. We're about an hour and a half from Dallas-Fort Worth and also from Austin. So we can enjoy the smaller town lifestyle and then go to a bigger city for the day. And a lot of people do that. If you have some things that you do, that you need to do, like the last time my son and I went to Austin, we also stopped at IKEA because they have an IKEA there, which obviously Waco does not have. They did a cheesecake factory, which I still kind of wish Waco had, but I'm kind of thankful that they don't. But we can do all those things, or people will go for a concert and then come back, that the next day or whatever. So it's very doable. Waco also has the Texas Ranger Hall of Fame and Museum and the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. I'm not a big sports person, but both of those I hear are a lot of fun to explore. And I've also mentioned the Brazos River. I love that. It's just beautiful. It runs through Waco. It's a great place to walk and run and to just get in touch with nature. So the next time you guys are in Waco, come check some of these things out. Well, ladies, thank you so much for being here. You guys were great. I'm sure that I will have you back again sometime. And to all of you who are listening, I hope that this was helpful. This is the end of this Taking Care of Your Temple broadcast. And so I hope that you will listen to us again. Yeah. Next week. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.